Okay, so I want to share with us a few tips I have for building our self-worth. Self-worth is so important, okay? It's having a feeling that we are good and that we deserve to be treated with respect. Everyone deserves to be treated with respect, right? So every time we allow ourselves to be treated anyhow without regard, we're actually showing the world that we don't think much of ourselves and that we have low self-worth. For me, I like to define self-worth as believing that we are worthy. So when I believe that I'm worthy, regardless of what I have or don't have, by virtue of being a human being, and I believe that yes, I'm worthy of regard, I'm worthy of respect, I'm worthy of kindness, I'm worthy of goodness, it shows that I have good self-worth. That's just my own simple explanation for self-worth. So what are some of the tips that can actually help us to practice and develop self-worth? For me, the first part is actually boundary. Having a healthy boundary around us. Yes, self-worth has to do with respect. If I don't have a boundary, how would I have regard? How will people respect me? Boundary is very important. That's why nations have boundary. They have stipulations you must follow, rules and regulations you must follow in order to live in their country, to do business, to come for tourism or whatever. So why should you as a human being allow anything to go in or out? Anybody to say whatever, anybody to do whatever? No. So the first step is actually learning to create a healthy boundary. And how can you do that? Learn to say no to whatever you have no desire for. No is a complete sentence. And be able to say yes to what you have desire for without thinking that people will judge you. Okay? The next part is actually being able to really assert for what you need clearly, in clear terms, no second guessing, and which is another word for being assertive. Yes, you should be confident enough to believe that your needs are important, your expectations are important, and be able to assert them. So you start bit by bit, letting people know in any relationships, any intersection, that your needs matter, you matter. And how do you know that you matter? How do you express that you matter? How do you show them that you matter? Bringing forth your own needs, ensuring that your needs are met, your expectations are also met. The way you meet for others, yours also should be met. The second part for me is actually making daily promises to ourselves and fulfilling them. Yes. Every time we break the promises, the little promises, we distrust ourselves the more. Okay? And with that, we lose respect for ourselves. Alright? So many people, especially people that have been through a lot of trauma in the past, one of the things that they experience is a form of mistrust between themselves. Yeah, and it comes from within. They felt like they didn't protect themselves enough. That's why they were raped. They didn't protect themselves enough. That's why this happened to them, that happened to them. And it's unfair. You're not to blame, but it happened. So ideally, trust is actually very helpful to gaining respect from ourselves. So how can we develop trust within? We make little promises to ourselves daily and we ensure that we fulfill them. And it doesn't have to be so much. You can start from brushing your teeth twice daily because you want to your tooth healthier and whiter. You can start from eating fruits, ensuring that you eat healthy meals, you do little exercises, you journal your thoughts, you write, you read a book, you have time with people that support you, that you love. So you have call time for friends, just little things, little promises, and then you begin to scale them up in time. All right, that is really helpful. As long as you continue to keep those little promises, you start to trust yourself more, and so you start to show respect for yourself, and people also see that you actually keep your words. Okay, so that's one of the ways to actually build our self-worth. The third one I'd like to share is really important. And what is that? It is the fact that we have to be able to speak our truth. Yes. If I respect myself, that means I have respect for my opinions, right? So if I have respect for my opinion, I have to assert my opinion. Yes, authentically. Yes. I don't have to think that I have to say what somebody else is saying. Sometimes you are agreeing to what they are saying, which is great. All right, we have to be agreeable. But when I am not in that position where I have to agree, I shouldn't be afraid to say my own opinion. If anybody have a space for their opinion, I also do. So learning to speak your truth gradually, in bit by bit, until it becomes a part of you, is actually one way to also build a self-worth. Authentical truth without being too politically correct or trying to be in the majority. Sometimes your truths are not in the majority, but that's your truth. So you have to trust yourself, trust your decision, trust your beliefs enough to actually assert this truth. The key thing is that You don't need external validation from anybody outside of you before you feel worthy. That's the key thing about self-worth. And I hope that you begin this journey today.